What's going on, family? It's your guy, Bo, the Lucky Libra, live in effect. Thank you for tapping into another episode. As you can see by the title, we picking up the signs through the houses series with Gemini in the fifth house. This is my placement, by the way, my placement. But before we get into that, all right, make sure to like, share, subscribe so we can circulate these gems. All right, tap into my Patreon if you want to dive deeper, and tap into my website if you want to connect with the Lucky Libra. Let's get right into it. Fifth house. What is the fifth house? We know houses represent areas of our life. And when we look at the fifth house area of life, whenever we're dealing with a situation where we're center stage or gaining attention or have the spotlight, we're in the fifth house. Whenever we're having fun doing something, we're in the fifth house. Whenever we, we're being entertained or being in a position to entertain others, we're in the fifth house. You listening to you listening to music, you diving into the things that you creatively invested in, you in the fifth house. You working on your creative endeavors, fifth house, all right? So, I'm about to say sixth house on that one. This is a little, they right next to each other. Things get a little blurry. But anyways, so for the most part, the fifth house rules how we deal with self-expression, creative expression, the childlike energy within us. How we connect and relate to that child inside us, how we deal with youthful-like energy, how we deal with creation of all sorts, all right? Also have influences with romance, love, right? So, when we have, I actually want to say romance and sex, because sex is involving the creation aspect. That's why we start to tie love and intimacy into the fifth house. But when we look at Gemini here, all right, like I said, I got this placement, y'all. So when we got Gemini here, first off, you need to understand, you need to know where Mercury's at. Mercury is your fifth house lord, all right? Mercury, so whatever house you have Mercury in, it's going to bring a lot of attributes and experiences and energies into your fifth house. Now, when we look at Gemini, Mercury, Gemini's air. It's the most flexible air sign. It's very adaptable, communicative. It's very detail-oriented. It's very relatable. It has a lot of, it stimulates the mind, a lot of thoughts wherever Gemini is at, a lot of interactions, a lot of movement where Gemini is at, a lot of different perspectives to pay attention to about what you may be dealing with in that house where Gemini is at, all right? Mercury's the house lord here, so Mercury rules, Mercury it rules how we organize our thoughts and communicate. But with Mercury ruling the fifth house, wherever there's an influence of Mercury, it's going to be critical in that area. So with Mercury ruling your fifth house, you can be real critical of how you deal with, looking at yourself on the stage, dealing with the spotlight, dealing with any form of creative artistic expression. These could be the things that you could be overly critical with by default. Whenever you center stage, whenever the spotlight is on you, you could be even a little bit critical with how you like to have fun at times, Now, the thing here is, Mercury's the ruler, so it's going to make you, whatever house it rules, you probably going to put some extra thought into that house when it comes to certain things. But Gemini, even though I'm saying all of this about, being real critical about dealing with your creative expression, or dealing with how you like to artistically express yourself, or how you even look at the potential or envision yourself expressing things, even though you might overthink and be critical in that area, Gemini is real free-spirited. Gemini will jump into things off the nature of just experiencing and whatnot. We know Gemini has a real spontaneous energy to it. So when you put Gemini in that fifth house, this person is going to be experiencing, building relationships, interacting when it comes to their creative endeavors. They're going to attract a lot of individuals and relationships in this realm by default, Now, the thing with Gemini in the fifth house, it's essential to build relationships. You want to embrace building relationships wherever air signs are at in your chart. This is why I'm doing this series. Just understanding that the zodiac signs in your houses, it's helping you to understand what you're attracting. And you're attracting things to help you build in a spiritual level in some type of shape or form. You're attracting things for a reason here. So when you have air in air houses, you're going to be attracting people, interaction, relationships, forms of relatability and communication. So you want to see the opportunities in what you're going to be attracting and bringing in there. So when you have a strong intuition of somebody that you want to creatively connect with, or you want to create with, when it comes to Gemini in the fifth house, you have to have the eyes and ears to pick that up, to see when there's a great potential for you to be a part of a grouping, a partnership, or deal with another individual, or network with another individual or party when it comes to creative energies creative environments, endeavors in the fifth house. Now, this is the thing here. Gemini already deals with communication, relatability, right? Already deals with communication, conveying messages, messaging. So when you have it in the fifth house, and the fifth house rules self-expression, you could find the influence, especially if they have air energies, especially if they have fire energies, if they have their house lord, Mercury making contact with Mars, that makes it more enticing, or with Mercury not going to be making contact with the sun, is closer to the sun. Mercury making contact with any other energy that entices it more to, deal with expression. But overall, you just having Gemini in this fifth house, these individuals may be more natural dealing with forms of expression and communication, because Gemini already want to communicate. They already want to express his ideas or have the exchange of ideas. So when you got Gemini in the fifth house, whether it's music, public speaking, vlogging, YouTubing, teaching, you feel me, inspiring, motivating, these individuals can find themselves dealing with some type of form of communicating, relating messages and whatnot in their fifth house. They may have a knack for dealing with communication or expressing their mind, their thoughts on stage in the fifth house. If Mercury's not being negatively hit by something, or if we don't have certain significant placements in this house, aka Chiron in this house, Saturn in this house, you feel me? Mercury, the fifth house lord, making contact with Saturn or some shit like that. So that's what hold on 1 second, y'all. So that's what we're gonna be dealing with when you have that Gemini in the fifth house. These people could be eager to take the stage to communicate and share their thoughts. Depending on your alignments, you might overdo it. You might be, real anxious and eager and impulsive at times to take the center stage, to exchange, to express your thoughts, to express your ideas about things. So it can manifest in positive and negative ways. We're just talking about potential things that you may attract and experience with Gemini in the fifth house. You may experience a lot of critique with your creativity here. A lot of critique. But that comes with networking and manifesting a lot of relationships, friendships, connections in this house by default. So you may have a grouping, you may be a part of groups, environments, partners, anyways, that you already deal with, that y'all critique each other by default. But expect your art, expect your creations to be critiqued here. As Mercury influenced. Gemini here, expect gossip, expect talk about you with your creativity. Whether that's somewhat close to critiquing, but when you just being gossiped about, talked about when it comes to how you express yourself, you can't let none of that shit build up insecurities, or you got to be aware of any insecurities or anything that's pushed on you from a verbal perspective on top of your creative endeavors or how you like to express yourself. Make sure that shit don't hold you back from continuing to dive into your creative expression. Gemini here is going to be a lot of ideas when it comes to how to express themselves. A lot of ideas when it comes to express themselves. A little bit too much goddamn ideas when it comes to expressing themselves. Especially if you got like Mercury in Gemini in this house. Mercury in the air sign. You got to get pinpointed with making decisions with Gemini in your fifth house. So you may have so much ideas about things, so much mental stimulation about how you want to conduct yourself on the stage, how you want to gain attention, how you want to be seen, creative endeavors and all of that. You got to make sure you're going to make decisions here. You're not allowing Gemini and all these thoughts and Mercury paying attention to every perspective and thing you could do in this house. And now you just not making decisions. You more so floating with creative endeavors and how you want to express yourself maybe in a creative way or whatnot, or how you like to experience fun. Now, Gemini is another thing. This house deals with entertainment and fun. Gemini in the fifth house, you will manifest a lot of friends, relationships that lean on having fun a lot of the times. And you got to know when to say no with Gemini here. You're going to manifest, you most likely going to manifest relationships, opportunities to build interactions and have a type of social space where you have resources, or you have friends, contacts, or whatnot that always can connect you to fifth house things. Even if you're not looking for entertainment and fun, you have a friend like, hey, come to this Super Bowl party. Hey, come to this wedding. Hey, come to this night. Hey, da, 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 da. Like, you're gonna have a lot of that with Gemini in the fifth house. You got to make sure you just got to make sure your friends you got to make sure how much your friends either peer pressure your ass to do things with having fun and whatnot when you probably feel like you got things you need to deal with, responsibilities, things you need to take care of. Because remember, spontaneous energy, fifth house deals with having fun, is already intense, upbeat, and then you throw Gemini in there. Gemini deals with movement, is it could be unstable at times. A lot of thoughts, ideas, persuasion. Gemini bring that gift of gab wherever it's at, gifted communicator. So when you throw in the fifth house, you don't know who gonna persuade you to deal with some shit. That's another thing. I'm glad I said that. You gotta watch out for persuasion in the fifth house. You can't be like anybody persuade you to move any type of way when it comes to your creative endeavors. You're going to manifest a lot of opportunities to learn from others. You naturally, with Mercury in the fifth house, be studying others when it comes to your creative endeavors. So if you're a rapper, you're going to be studying other motherfuckers' lyrics. Mercury ruling the fifth house, going to be studying others before them when it comes to what they doing creatively. What they bringing out that fifth house. You just got to make sure, that persuasion or making sure you follow your intuition with shit in the fifth house and just don't allow anybody's analysis, ideas, critique, opinions to throw off what you're trying to create here. Now, when it comes to entertainment, these individuals is aired, so they're most likely gonna like lyricism, music with messaging. When it comes to entertainment, when it comes to like movies, films, they're gonna be deep into the dialogue scripts, how things are written. They're going to be into that with Mercury, Gemini in the fifth house. I put my bottom dollar on it. Everybody watching this video with Gemini in fifth house, watch shit with captions. Y'all watch shit with movies, Netflix and chilling. Y'all got the captions on. Just help y'all deal with, especially if you got air in your charts. I'm trying not to be biased and correlated to my energies because I am an air sun, Gemini in this house, you feel me? And y'all be seeing my fifth house energy because my fifth house is in the 10th house. So when it comes to how I broadcast myself as Bored or Lucky Libra, my brand, career, all of that, my fifth house, this is fun for me. I am somewhat, I've naturally gravitated towards communicating on camera on the fifth house. Right now, the spotlight attention is on me, and I'm doing communicating. I'm teaching. I'm giving my ideas, my thoughts out. I'm bringing a lot of my ideas and thoughts into my social status, aka how I'm known. I'm not known for being an athlete. I'm not known for motherfucking cooking shit. I'm known for what I communicate or the ideas and the what we exchange when we talk about astrology and spirituality. So I'm telling you guys that the chart is so deep when we're looking at everything, man. We got the signs in the houses, we got the rulers, then we got the planets in the houses, we got alignment squares. So this is a very deep science, and it takes time to break this down to understand yourself. A lot of different segments and components to things. You can't just be looking at one placement thinking that placement, can't be negated in some type of way, can't be, can't be enticed in some type of way based off another energy. We got all different type of alignments and whatnot going on. But yeah, that's Gemini in that fifth house. They're going to gravitate towards like that lyricism, the dialogue in a show or whatnot. Like, if I was to write a show, that scene right there, they could have wrote something more better than that. That was supposed to be a deeper scene. They could have done a lot like shit like that. These people are going to be real good. They're going to be very good when it comes to analyzing and critiquing other people's creativity. So these is good judges. These is good, like fashion show judges. Shit like that. People that could critique your creativity when you got Mercury influence in that fifth house. What else we got Gemini in the house? Pretty much touching it right there. I'm trying to put too much pressure on myself to cover everything. I want these videos to be brief. There's so much I want to get into these past couple of years on this channel, and I feel like we still at the beginning stages with things. So I just want to make sure, briefly hover over things, but still get a nice cover in a general way. So that's Gemini in the fifth house, y'all. That's Gemini. Oh, this is another thing. If you have children, let me know if you have twins. let me know you have twins. I got a little theory. Gemini in the 5th house could produce twins. So let me know if you have children in this house. You feel me? Or if you're a twin and you got, you're a Gemini in the 5th house, so let down. All right, gang. So y'all already know the vibes. Like, share, subscribe. All right, let's get these gems in circulation. Tap into my Patreon if you want to dive deeper. Tap into my website if you want to connect with the lucky Libra. All right. Next, we picking it up with what we got? What we got? Cancer in the 5th house. All right. Cancer in the 5th house. So until next time, family. Peace.